I don't remember exactly how I heard about the Washington Women's Art Center. I had moved to Washington in 1970, and I didn't know a whole lot of people. I was teaching English at, it was called then the Washington Technical Institute, and I was writing poetry and reading a lot of feminist writers, and I was looking for a community of women who were artists of various kinds. And somehow I heard about the center, and I stopped in one day and met Ronnie Tuft, and we started talking. She started telling me a lot about the center, and asked me what I was interested in. I told her a little bit about what I was doing. And she said that one of the things that the center really needed was money, and needed somebody to write grants, and asked me if that was something I would like to do. And I said, well, I haven't done it before, but I'm an English teacher. I mean, how hard could it be? And I actually don't remember the first grant that I wrote, but amazingly enough, we got the grant. And then once we had that, we could apply for matching funds from the DC Commission on the Arts. And after that occurred, then eventually we also applied for a grant later with our great track record with the National Endowment of the Arts. One of the other grants that I was able to get was from the Edith Blum Foundation, and we decided to use it to do a lecture series, and that was very gratifying. I enjoyed that a lot. I think a lot of the other people enjoyed those talks as well. We were able to pay honorarium to attract people to jury the show. We had a newsletter that came out, and just kind of the center just really started to take off. And it was just wonderful being a part of something that began to grow and blossom through the cooperation and really the affection that we all had for each other. And it was just a great environment for me. This poem I wrote for the show Words and Images, and it was inspired by an etching by Sarah Hyde of a quilting bee of Amish women, and it's called Quilting. It was also actually inspired by my whole experience of working with the women at the Women's Center and my experience there. The women come to quilt, bring scraps of fabric saved from what they've sewn to clothe their families, work the patches into patterns bounded only by the dreams that women dream, by the imaginings of women wedded to regimes of discipline, subordinate to habits of repression. On the surface, their designs are geometrical, fit function, but between the lines, a plethora of colors, forms, and textures teems, reflecting bursts of laughter, longing, hope, released in women's talk, in closeness shared in the communal action of the quilting bee. Inspired by them, you etch your print, capturing the process, not the product of creation, not the quilt that men have finally come to recognize as art, not the rich colors, but the grayness of the women's dresses, shadows that they cast, not separate faces, but the patterns that the figures of the women at the tables form while working. Movements meshed, connections caught, is what you freeze into a tableau that a ballet corps might dance, momentum transformed into art. Or so it seems to me, who view your work, surrounded by the visions of the women whom I've worked with, traded dreams with, moved by what they've made, by what you've made, form what has touched your spirit, by the energy you draw, excite in me that links the fields of expression women charge unendingly in one creative current, generating quilts and prints and poems.